All right, welcome to the channel. This is Jim of All Trades, and we're bringing you another technical analysis video on Litecoin. Pretty excited to share what we're seeing in the charts. It's looking good, but I want to caveat some things with yesterday's videos. I was wrong on one aspect of it, but not completely wrong. So we'll look at that today. Just to just want to apologize on the front end. My voice is about shot, and so I'm doing my best to speak, but if you can listen through, I can talk through. So, all right, let's jump in here. Um, this is you're looking at the Litecoin 2 hour chart, and yesterday I drew a WXY, and I'm rethinking that now, but here's why I'm rethinking it. Um, I, this is what I drew yesterday. I figured that this was a W, X, and a Y. And then we measured the length of the W down to here, and then we projected the X to come down here to the 70 to $71 range, which we talked about yesterday's video. That's still in play, but it may not be a WXY. Let me just tell you why. I want to talk about the benefit of Elliott Wave and how we can use Elliott Wave to project what's going on and to rule out different scenarios and how to trade basically. So wait till the end of the video. I'm just going to give you some trading ideas on how to use Elliott Wave and where we're going from here. Um, so one of the things I want to talk about today is just what wicks to rule out. We have this huge we have this price going up, and it finally wicks out at $100, and then the sell-off begins very rapid. All the sellers begin taking their profits, and it just goes like crazy. And then right about here, this is where everybody's FOMOing out. Oh no, I'm gonna lose my shirt, and so everybody starts selling until the sales just become expendable. And those people that sold up here probably repurchased down here, which is if you're day trading, that's something you can definitely do, especially when you see the selling fizzling. But this wick is just so huge and comparative to what's going on. You just got to wonder: do we leave that out? When we draw the fibs projection, do we bring it all the way down to the wick? Well, I usually do, but this wick seems so out of place. So, but if we do, that brings us again down here to the. Let me see if I can get this right on the money. Um, um, yeah, it brings us right down here to that $70, which I was talking about, in the secondary mark here at 63, 62.53 in that ballpark, right? But if we ignore this wick and say, okay, that wick is an anomaly, we really just have a ABC right here. Um, which is three waves. Then we got three waves, and we're gonna have five waves. We're gonna have a 3-3-5 correction, which is another possibility. You can see how it changes the fib relationship a little bit. It brings our 1.276 right here to the $72 mark or so. Let me see if I can make sure that this is right on the money. There we go. 72, $73. Um, so the question is that what we're looking at? Are we looking at basically coming back down here to that wick? Um, if I had prepared the chart a little bit better, I would actually show you that Litecoin often does that. It will wick early and then later on bring price down to where it wicked. That is often the case. Today I'm going to refine my projection just a little bit. I'm thinking 73, but again, Litecoin likes to wick through those targets, so chances are it might even come down to the $71, right about where we were talking anyway. It'll wick to it. You can see the RSI line here on the 2 hour, how we're just creating we've got a channel here in the RSI, and we went from way overbought here, and then we've just been making our way down here. We've got a bounce off of here. It's a confirmed bounce, and we are coming down. You can really see this target down here very carefully. So we're going to be looking to buy back in. This is definitely looking. If it's not a WXY, it's definitely just looking like a simple ABC. A 335. We got an A. We've got a B, and now we've got our C finishing out. So that looks pretty good. Let's zoom in and just check where we are and what's going on the closer time frame. And one of the reasons I knew that this isn't going up and this hasn't bounced is because we've got a clear three waves here. Um, you know, as far as I mean, not three waves. Let me say that again. We've got a clear ABC forming. I'm trying to find the chart. I thought I had it before. So we begin here with this diagonal. This is a five-wave diagonal. If we wanted to count those waves, we could do that. We've got one, two. Let's see, yeah, three, four, five. It's really kind of an odd shape, but there it is. That's a five. Then you've got a clear three waves, A, B, C, right, coming down. Um, so we can also look at that. Now, what we understand is that once you have five waves, it'll be followed by three. And generally, when you have a five, then you have a three. Um, you could either have another three waves, which is another ABC, which will be a 535 or a 335, something like that. Or you can have five waves. You can have a three. You can have a five, three, and a five in Elliott Wave. Which what we turned out to have is we have a one. We've got a two. See, I thought last night that this was a three and a tricky four, and I mean a tricky five, and we came up. And the reason I thought that, and the reason I was saying that, is because when we put the fib projection on it, go here to the top, we go from A to B, there. Um, where did it go? Let me try it again. All right, there we go. B, and then we come down. You can see that this thing wicked up to the 1276, but it wasn't done. It wasn't done. So it came up. It came down here for four, and then it came up. Now look where we whipped, and we definitely topped out right there. You can see we topped out just past the 1276, that is the landing point of most zigzags. So I think we've got a 335 here. It's a kind of a flat. Um, excuse me, a 535 here, with a very deep B wave there. But you basically have an ABC here, which is a standard correction. Let me see if I can just show you A, B, and C like that. Okay, so um, we'll get that off the chart and just kind of clean it up a little bit. So there we go. So that means we're coming down for five waves, right? Um, so that means, let me just zoom out a little bit, go to the hourly, just so we can have a little bit of room here. Oh, that is totally. Let me get these fibs off of here so you can see. There we go. So we're looking at something like this. We've got one, two, three, four, and five. See if I can. You can see a trend line that I have drawn here, right there. It don't think it's coming down to that trend line, but it very well could. Which that's looking somewhere around the. Now, if this takes a while, if this five waves takes a while, and sometimes it does, sometimes it goes very quickly. Then if it goes sideways, the more sideways it is, that would bring us up here to our $70 target or so. So let me just clean this up. This is so. Maybe I'll go to the 30-minute. See if it'll help you. There we go. That off. Get that off. There we go. So we're looking for some kind of five waves down here. Let's get our fibs back on. Overall, boom. So yeah, we're looking to come down here in five waves. That's an awful big one wave, but we'll see. So the question is, okay, how can Elliott Wave? What if I'm completely wrong here? What if that there are some other scenarios, and say, well, okay, what are the scenarios? Well, let's look at the other possibilities. So I believe, just to go back, I just believe we're coming down in five waves. This is we just formed the one wave, basically something like this: one, two, three, four, five. Come down there, something like that. That's probably what we're going to look at. And you can see that as you look at the one wave here, that looks awful close to that shape as well. In what we've already created. So the one is often the same as the five. So that's looking really good. You say, okay, are there any other scenarios that are possible? Yeah. Okay. First off, we could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a truncated five. I don't see it because it's just three waves, man. But let's just say there's a hidden fifth wave in there somewhere, and we just can't see it, but it's there. And so we came up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That kind of came up in a diagonal, and this is a 1, 2. Is that a possibility? It could be, I suppose. Why don't I think that? Well, number one, we just look at the shape of things, right? So this is five waves. This looks like an ABC. That looks like a standard zigzag. So shape tells us a lot. We look at wave count as well. When you see three waves, it's hard to deny it. It's just hard to deny it. When you see five waves, it's hard to deny it. So see right here, does that look like three waves or does that look like five waves? I mean, to me, I just one, two, three, four, five, boom. It looks very five wave-ish, or it's in the middle of five waves. Um, this could be a very small one, two. This is could be three, four, five. That's a scenario. But again, that all could be a one wave. That's five subwaves of the larger one wave of the fifth wave. I know it gets kind of confusing, but that could be. I don't know what's going on. Only time will tell. Um, but we do know that we do. That's very five wave-ish. That does not look three wave-ish. And so when you have five waves to the downside, um, you know, uh, that's very motive wave like. That's 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 not corrective. That's motive. See, this is corrective. You see that choppiness. See this choppiness. This is corrective. When you see all this choppiness, but when you see these straight lines, that's a motive wave, and it's very clear to see the difference between those. Right? It doesn't mean you won't have small motive waves within that choppiness, but this is choppy, right? And so we're seeing a motive wave begin. You can see oftentimes waves will begin slightly choppy. In fact, you can see one, two, three, four, and there's five right there. Boom. So you can kind of see how we're beginning to make that. You could see how we can probably go sideways for a little bit and then just shoot down here and finish this wave out. Very, very likely to that's the way it's going to end. So that's what I'm looking at. I just really don't think that this is any other thing other than what we're seeing. This is an ABC, and we're coming down in five. So I'm still looking at the 72 to 7, anywhere from 72 to $70 in that ballpark. I'm going to be looking to be a buyer down here most likely. Okay, so I promise. How do we trade this? Well, first off, we need to have an understanding where what if we're wrong? What if I'm wrong? Well, here's what we do. Um, if I'm wrong, that means we're going up from here, right? And this is a one. This is a two wave, right? If I'm wrong. So number one, I'll know that that's not true if we make a lower low. Two cannot go past the lower than one, so I'll know that that's not right. But if we begin making a higher high, but you've got to understand how it moves. It'll come up in one, two, three, four, five, like that, right? It'll start moving up in that direction and so what we want to look at is as soon as we break this high, right? If we break this high, we've come up to make another higher high. That means we're going to come down in a two. That's where you want to be a buyer then. Okay, so we wait for the confirmation. We wait for a confirmation that hey, we're wrong on this, and that's always possible. As you get more information, you get more accurate counts. But we're looking at the possible scenarios and see what are the high likelihoods of trades here. And so when you see um, when you see it make a higher high, you know that something's off with this count, right? That's what I had to do last night. I had to go revisit this count. That I was a little off here, but about it's about the same count, just one more wave. So if we come up here and make a higher high in a one, we're going to come down in a two, and we're going to be watching that, watching for a bounce in the two. Now that two will retrace the one wave, something about 50% to 68% in that ballpark. It could retrace more, it could retrace less, but the average is just look for about a 50% retrace, and then watch to see if we get a bounce there. If you get a bounce, you might consider thinking about a trade. But again, I'm not giving financial advice. This video is not about financial advice. It's about how to use Elliott waves to think about trading, and this is the way I think about trading using Elliott wave. So that's what I'm looking for. I am looking for a bounce to come up here. I don't think it's going to be a big bounce, but I'm looking for a little bit of a bounce, and then I expect it to come down in a third wave, fourth and fifth. So I'm expecting again. I've already drawn this a couple times. The one might be in. Got a little two bounce. Three, four, and five, something like that. We'll be watching to see, but new targets somewhere around 72.54. I think it's going to wick down further. It's probably going to come down to the $71, 71.50 in that ballpark. Still in the same ballpark, just slightly changing. We we got to think too. What if we go significantly past here and come down to the 618? Well, if we come down to the 618, we got a completely different ball game. This is not an ABC correction at all. This will actually be a 1, 2, 3. Um, so that means that this will be a 1, a 2, and then we're coming down for 3. This is a third wave, 4, 5, and that's the one of the fifth wave, and we're going down. We're gonna hit back in the 20s, if that's the case. So we want to really be watching that. If we don't bounce here and we come down here to the 66, we're looking to go lower. So that's the bear case as well. We don't want to even think about that right now. We'll wait to see what's going on. Until tomorrow, I'll make a new video tomorrow and see where we are, and we'll check the Elliott count tomorrow. But I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe, share the video. That'll help as well. All right, have a great night. Well, have a great day. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Y'all have a fantastic day.